excited to share with you the experience at the Krishna temple today. I was taking a nap and then I woke up and then I jolted out of bed because I was so excited to share with you my experience. To go to the Hare Krishna temple here in Denver, and I'm bringing a guest along, so I'm just waiting for my friend to come pick me up so we can head over there. I feel really connected to more of the Hindu practices and gods and demigods and goddesses. That's what I've been really researching and studying for most of my spiritual journey. I'm really excited to just go visit and to be a part of this experience, and they call it the festival. So we are going to go. It starts in 30-ish minutes, and I'm so excited. Are we excited? Okay, so we're here. Yeah, it was so amazing. So cool.
We have limited people.
Thank you. So I'm so excited to share with you today's experience. I was taking a nap and then I woke up and then I jolted out of bed because I was so excited to share with you the experience at the Krishna temple today. Very different than anything I've ever experienced. And I've seen the Hindi practice in different expressions, but I've never actually been a part of one. And so today it was really powerful to be inside of the kirtan. From the moment I walked in, we walked in a little bit late, so the kirtan was already happening. And what I actually found out later is that there was a special festival today that was about bringing back I forget exactly what was transpiring because I couldn't take notes during this time, but basically coming back home to love, coming back home to your devotion to the Lord, right? So Krishna consciousness is a sector of the Hindu religion, and it's practiced a lot in America, right? And so really what the basis of it is that there is one God that they basically devote to, which is Vishnu, and then there's expressions of Vishnu, which are known as Krishna and Rama. And so during the kirtan, there's about 30 to, I think today was longer because there was a festival. We got there and it was about 45 minutes of the kirtan, but you're standing, I'll show you right here. And then you are chanting Hare Krishna, Rama Rama. And so you are basically in mantra, standing and singing with music, and brings you into a meditative state, which then allows you to really feel the presence of Lord Krishna. And then there was a small class or lecture that happened. So what happens is you go in, you take off your shoes, and you say gratitude as you walk in. And then there is the kirtan. And so you're chanting the mantra, Hare Krishna, Rama Rama, right? Hare Rama. And this goes on for a while. And then what was really cool is that there was a lady walking around, first with fire, and then you felt like water being splashed on you. And then you felt and then she brought a rose around for everyone to smell. I think I have the video of her with the fire right here. And basically, it was honoring the elements of our universe, right? And they believe that Vishnu is the supreme God that is the protector of the universe. And so, again, this is like very new to the understanding of it, but I really like to do a little bit of research before I go, and then with not like a lot of preconceived notions, just to experience what I experience, and then my research gets to be done afterwards. So what I felt in there was the most amount of joy I've felt in spiritual practice, right? Like, you're connected to all of these beautiful people from different cultures. My eyes are even watering, like just remembering how much joy I felt in this space, and how the presence of source was there, right? For me, it's specifically, it just felt like a source-like energy and a union and a connection to like oneness. Everyone was there as expressions of, to me, as expressions of God, right? Of expressions of Vishnu. And everyone was chanting the same mantra, and there was such a beautiful connection to oneness. So I felt so alive. I felt like it was one of the most expressive and accepting experiences. Everyone was dressed in their own way, in their own expression. It was definitely way more lively than the Buddhist temple that I went to. And then the lecture or the class, she was talking about basically coming back to your devotion. No matter how far you get away from your practice, that there's always a way to come back home. And the festival was based in the Hindu teachings. I'm so blanking and I can't even recall it, but was based in the Hindu teachings, where in India they use a chariot to bring one of the people back to their hometown. And so outside of the temple, they had the beautiful chariot. And so when we were talking to a couple of the men afterwards, he said that he was from India, and he said that they take this chariot and they recreate that experience, and they drag this chariot down a couple of blocks here in Colorado. So I thought that was so cool. And after the kirtan, when we went into lecture, we went into like a bow. I didn't get it on video because I was just in it, but bowing with, on your, basically in like child's pose. And there was some mantra that was being spoken and sang. And then the lecture came. And so what she was basically saying through the expression of this whole chariot festival is that, again, no matter how far you get away from your expression, or how far you feel Krishna is away from you, or how far, or how you do not feel connected to Krishna, this festival is to call you back home to devotion. And ultimately what they're speaking of in this experience is the expression of love. And I feel that as my spiritual practice is developing and evolving, I'm understanding what my faith is and who God is to me, and really it's the expression of love. When I'm going to all of these different spiritual places of worship, I'm understanding like everything within each of these different religions ultimately comes back to love, that God is love, right? And that anything outside of that is not God. So it's really cool to me to really be able to experience these different religions. And today I felt like the most home that I've ever felt. And Shoshana said something really powerful where she said it feels familiar, because they really practice like the bhakti lifestyle, which is really about devotion. It's about, there's a lot of dance, there's a lot of expression, and it's really what I already teach inside of my coaching practice, right? A lot of sound, movement, breath, right? And that just felt deeply familiar. I loved it. The lecture wasn't too long, I think, because they were in this special Sunday experience, coming back home with the chariot. And my biggest, like, I guess, takeaway from it is that when people are seeking God, they're seeking someone to remind them of the highest level of consciousness, love, right? For me, it just felt deeply familiar. Like I was home. And I was talking to Shoshana later on. It was really that I feel like I've been from other cultures in different lifetimes. And so that's why each of these practices that I'm going to, there's a part of me that feels nourished through them, because it's reminding me of a part of myself in a past life being from different cultures. I felt like I've seen myself in different cultures. And if you watched the mushroom experience, I talked about how I saw visuals of myself being a medicine woman with music inside of different cultures, healing people. That's why all of these specific experiences are speaking to me. And that's, I feel like, why today spoke to me so well, is because of the music aspect. There was a lot of music, a lot of chanting, a lot of singing, a lot of mantra, and that feels deeply healing. That feels deeply true to me. That's like when I went to the Red Rocks church, I felt alive and activated through the music. That was the only church where I felt like I had cried. And it was just so yummy to be there. So same thing with here. One of my friends asked me, will you be back? And my response was 100% hell yes. Even just getting watery eyes thinking about it. Like, I definitely felt that there was so much of me that has been activated through that experience. And while I don't have a lot of wisdom to share with you, I do have a lot of feeling and joy and love to share with you. And when we were exiting the temple to enjoy the Sunday feast, which is really cool. Every Sunday they cook up this wild and crazy feast. This man stopped me and asked how I liked it, because inside of the kirtan, I guess between kirtan and lecture, they asked who is new or whose first time is it? And of course I raised my hand. So I think he saw. And so he asked how I liked it, what I got from it. And I basically just said I felt like love was activated through me. I felt the like most amount of joy being there. And again, I'm getting teary eyes because I was like, it's not that I learned anything, but I remembered what joy was. I remembered what love is. And I remembered who I am, and who I've always been, which is really wildly connected to God, to love, to music. And yeah, I'm feeling more and more clear and understanding of who I am and why I've been put here. And yeah, it's really cool. So that was a really powerful practice. I learned that the men, they have shaved heads, and then they wear like their hair, like a piece of their hair like is long back here. And so I asked one of the men, I'm like, with the most utmost respect, may I ask a question? He's like, of course. And so I asked, and he said that their hairstyle is like that to protect the chakras. So I thought that was really cool. And I just feel like a lot of the teachings and lifestyle that happened at the Krishna temple, which is backed by the bhakti lifestyle, right, is already what I practice in my day-to-day life. I felt really at home. So I will be back. I know I'm going to go to something else next week. I don't know what next week consists of, because I only planned my faith tour up to this point, because I was like, oh, if I can commit to 7 weeks, like amazing. So Shoshana asked me how long this faith tour is going to go on, and I believe that it's going on until I'm nudged otherwise. It's going on until Source, God, shows me where I should be and what I should be doing. So I'm not sure what next week holds. So after we finished talking to the man, we got to eat the feast, and it was the greatest and yummiest Indian food, plant-based, because in a temple there is no meat. The food was really yummy, and the conversations in line were really cool. We stood in front of these 2 Indian men who had moved to the United States for school and for jobs, and they've been in Colorado for about a year. So we got to really like talk about India, and I've already had a deep desire to go to India. And now I feel like that amplified it times 1,000. Shoshana's been there multiple times for a couple months at a time, and they were just conversating, and I'm like, oh, my soul wants to go to India so freaking bad. So I'm going to manifest that there's an opportunity for me to go to India. And yeah, I don't know what this faith tour consists of, but all I know is that I'm feeling more and more alive every single freaking day. I guess I can share that I went to a somatic massage yesterday, and my somatic massage, my practitioner is really on his own path with God. And so we have like the really coolest, most deep conversations about God, about consciousness, and about relationships, because he knows that I'm in the process of calling in my divine union, my sacred lover. And the massage was so intense. I've been having this wild and crazy low back pain, and it's like been wrapped around like my sacral, like my womb space, almost as if like you could see someone that was wearing a wrestling belt and wrapping it around their stomach. And this wrestling belt felt like it was suffocating my womb. And by the end of the massage, he's like in my SI joint, so in my really deep low back. And all of a sudden I felt like someone abruptly leave. Like if someone you were sitting talking to someone inside of your house and then they just abruptly left. I felt like that's what happened in my body. Like something abruptly left. It wasn't like a pain. It was just like, oh, whoa, that was kind of weird. And then at that moment, my massage therapist, Jason, was like, whoa, I don't know what spirit just left your body, but something just left. And I was like, I don't know what that was, but I felt it. And then the massage ends, he leaves, I get dressed, he comes back in, and I was like, I'm starting to feel so emotional. And my emotions started to heighten, and suddenly I felt like this intense, just like breakdown of tears. Like I had the most wild and crazy cathartic release, and I couldn't logically understand why I was crying, but I was crying in his office for like 10 minutes. And then I went to the park across the street, and I cried in the park in the grass for another hour, and just feeling like fear had left my body. Like I had released so much of what I was holding on to, so much protection, so much just like, having to always protect myself because of the season that I've been in, where there's been a lot of like feast or famine. There's been a lot of like questioning my path. There's been a lot of feeling like I've been in dorsavagal checkout, which is like not wanting to participate in life. So there's been a lot of like me protecting myself and not wanting to feel, because I feel like I had to keep it all together to survive. So I feel like a whole different person. And it's absolutely insane. And I'm still integrating. I feel like today I moved really slow, and I feel like there was other stuff that was coming up. Yeah. It's been a wild weekend, and I wouldn't change it for the world, and I'm obsessed, and I'm so happy that I embarked on this faith tour, and it's just bringing life back into me. I was feeling so spiritually flat and numb, and now last night I went to bed in tears of happiness for how much I love myself and how proud I am of myself and how I am just being guided and how grateful for God I am and the people in my life. And I just had so much gratitude. And yesterday when I was like laying in the grass, I was like crying at like the beauty of the trees and how much we take it for granted. And I didn't know what it felt like to feel so alive, and I feel so freaking alive. Like I feel so alive. And yeah, I didn't know that this was possible. So I'm so happy that I embarked on this faith tour. And if I can encourage you to do something of your own, something similar, or if you feel spiritually flat, finding what coming back to something greater than you feels like, coming back to love, and getting on the chariot and finding what faith or spirituality or God means to you, because that is the piece that is missing when it comes to happiness, joy, success, love, connection, is really what I'm really understanding. So thank you for tuning along on this faith tour. I'm obsessed. I'm so happy. I'm so grateful. I don't know, like, again, what all of these pieces and parts are adding up to, but I'm just along for this journey. And ultimately, it's the emotion of love. So I will see you next week.